Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's been 6 days since our trip to Philadelphia, and we head not that far away from Philly to Baltimore at the very least. So, little bit of a short trip right there as we have the AFC North crown on the line right here, where all we have to do is win and we clinch the division. But that's not as simple as it sounds going in this game, as it is a challenge. And if you know me, I'm always up for a challenge. So let's get on to this preview. What is going on, everybody? I am Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link is down in the box below. Week number 16, and it is round 2 between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens, and we have a lot to say in this video. So, obviously, the last time these two met was back in week 11. We won it 18-16, a game in which we didn't even kick a game in which we didn't even score a single touchdown, and we beat them by kicking 6 field goals. And we beat them with also forcing turnovers. We beat them with the physicality. Russell Wilson didn't perform perfect in that game, but in my opinion, he played well enough to win. And the Steelers got the win, and we've been basically in first place ever since then. Although it was earlier, but we have not relinquished that lead in the AFC North as we look to seal it up on Saturday night against the Ravens. But like I alluded to, that is going to be a lot easier said than done. So let's get on to this preview right here. As first, I'm going to talk about the big elephant in the room here, and that is the health of this team. As you know, on Sunday, a 27-13 loss to Philly, a game in which George Pickens was absent once again, but he has made some progress with his hamstring, and he is listed as questionable for this game. For me personally, it's 50-50 whether I think he can play in this game or not, but I am hopeful that he can play, and if not this week, the next 2 weeks for sure. The point is, I think we're going to be getting George Pickens back very soon, but it's just unclear if he's going to come back for this game or not. Then of course you got the big one, TJ Watt, with a low ankle sprain in that loss to Philly. And while he is listed as questionable for this game, personally, I think it would be wise for him to not play in this game, because if the Steelers are to make a deep playoff push, we need our 2 best players on the team to be at their healthiest, and we can't risk to lose them long term. So yes, it is probably going to suck to lose TJ for this game, especially with the AFC North crown on the line. And we are 1-10 all time when TJ Watt does not play for us, and the defense has suffered historically when TJ Watt does not suit up for us. But as far as him being healthy for the playoffs goes, I think it's the right call. Because look at it this way, Steeler fans. Even if we lose this game, that would put both teams at 10-5, but we would still have the slight edge over the Ravens because we have a better conference record than they do. Okay? So, I mean, I'm not saying, I'll be happy even if we lose. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that losing this game might not be detrimental to us, and it might not be horrible, of course, depending on what happens on Christmas Day against Kansas City. But I digress. Those are the 2 biggest injuries that we have going into this game, and I can expect at least one of them to play. Then, of course, you got Larry Ogunjobi. He's questionable for this game as well. You got Dante Jackson, who's also questionable. And, of course, you got Deshaun Elliott, who's also questionable. So, at least none of these guys are complete shoo-ins to miss this game, as they basically have game time decisions and are questionable to play. But still, we need all the help that we can possibly get as far as competing in this game goes. And, looking at us defensively, sure, our defense has taken some severe setbacks over the past couple weeks, and our pass defense and our run defense are still pretty sus. But when you look at the big picture of things, this team is still top 10 in most categories when it comes to the defense. So you got to take that a little bit of a grain of salt, especially when it comes to turnovers. We've forced 30 turnovers on the season, which is by far the most in the league this season. And as I alluded to in the beginning, the last time we played these guys, we forced 3 turnovers on them. So definitely that leads me to my first key to victory here, is that the defense needs to be at their fullest here. And if you have to use depth, then make it count. And forced turnovers is huge. Derrick Henry rarely fumbles. He had a fumble against us the first time we played him. Lamar Jackson has thrown like 2 or 3 picks all season. Peyton Wilson made an incredible interception on him in our first matchup. So you get the point right there. Forcing turnovers in this game and winning the turnover battle is huge for this game. If you can make Baltimore cough up the ball, and you could put Lamar Jackson in a deficit in this game, your chances at beating Baltimore are definitely going to skyrocket. So that's my first key to victory right here, is forcing turnovers. Now, as I said, that's going to be a lot easier said than done, because you take a look at the Ravens offense. You take a look at it, they are the number 3 scoring offense in the league. And while they've stepped down slightly since our first matchup, this is still an offense that is definitely elite, and still an offense that is not to be underestimated. So there you go with the Ravens right there. The number 3 scoring offense. They are first also in yards per play, and they have the number 1 red zone offense in the league. So again, that's another big concerning factor, considering that we gave up a red zone touchdown to them in week 11, and that our red zone defense has been very off this season as well. So you cannot allow this team to score in the red zone. You cannot allow them to take advantage of that, and you can't even get them in that position. So coming up with the quote big stop in this game is definitely essential for this game. Some other big key factors for Baltimore's offense. 2 big players that really don't get enough credit, in my opinion, for them are Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. They have definitely put together some really solid weeks as the season's gone on for the Ravens, and I think that has really elevated Lamar Jackson's passing game. And of course, always he's had Mark Andrews for years now, and he does, my point with Lamar is that there's no excuse for him to be missing guys, and there's no excuse for him to have down years as far as the passing game goes, because he has these weapons at his disposal that have been stepping things up. So there's no excuse, in my opinion, for Lamar Jackson to, underperform in the passing game. And that leads me into my next key to victory into beating the Baltimore Ravens here, is that, play Lamar like how you usually play against him. And that's the typical Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin scheme when it comes to the defense here. Like I said, not having TJ Watt could hurt that, but you have the depth to be able to do that. And what I mean by that is that you run man-to-man blitzes right here. You send 5 against Lamar Jackson, and you eliminate any kind of opening lanes, because when you lock down Lamar's first read and you eliminate that quick play from him, and you're able to close up the lanes, that's when you're able to get to him, and he's able to just, scramble in the pocket, and he has to be able to force himself to use his legs in that type of situation. So definitely eliminating lanes, taking Lamar's eyes off of his first read in this game is vital, no matter who's on the field for the defense in this game. I can expect there to be a lot of man-on-man single, a lot of man-to-man single eye safeties in this game on top for this game. So you're definitely going to be looking at individual matchups in this game. That is all huge. And unfortunately for us guys, the sands of time with JPJ are just running down significantly, because if Deshaun Elliott is not going to play in this game, then that eliminates a lot of positivity as far as the pass defense goes here, because JPJ, I am like one right turn away from officially labeling him a bust. He gave up a lot of big plays against Philly once again. He committed some penalties, or he has committed penalties, a ton of them on the season. Can't go a route without holding a guy essentially. And then when there is separation between JPJ and the guy who's supposed to be locked down on, there's just nothing but just blown coverage. So my point is, unless JPJ can put together some kind of improbable comeback with his style of play, I don't have a lot of high hopes for him, to put it lightly with him. So that's my thing with JPJ right there. The one-on-one matchups have to be huge, and I think if Deshaun Elliott is going to play in this game, that's huge for our passing defense here. So that's how you do it right there. Make Lamar Jackson beat you, because if you make Derrick Henry beat you and you allow Derrick Henry to have a great game, then that's going to be trouble, and that's going to be the biggest reason that we're not going to beat Baltimore here. Because kind of similar to Philly, if you have Saquon Barkley beat you with the Eagles, which thankfully that's not what the Steelers did, and you can eliminate Derrick Henry's production in the same way that you eliminate Saquon Barkley's production, then your chances of beating Baltimore and Philly increase. I think the Ravens and Eagles are two very similar teams. The difference is that the Eagles have a way better defense, and that Jalen Hurts can face pressure a little bit better than Lamar Jackson can. That's the difference, in my opinion, between the Ravens and Eagles. Other than that, they're two very similar teams. You don't want to have their running backs beat you, because it takes a lot of pressure off of their quarterbacks, and it allows them to create time in their ability and to just, pave the way for the rest of the way for them. But if you get Lamar Jackson in a deficit and you have Lamar beat you, and you make Lamar make bad decisions, whereas he can gun the ball down, whereas you make him gun it down, or you make him make a big play on 3rd and long, then your chances of beating Baltimore can increase. Without Derrick Henry, Lamar doesn't really have any type of leverage to mount a comeback, whereas his game has just relied solely on getting in building up a big lead and then just playing it safe for the rest of the way. So that's it right there. Make Lamar Jackson beat you. Do not make King Henry beat you in this game. And that's what the Steelers did against Baltimore in the first matchup. And that's what we did against Saquon Barkley. But the problem is that Jalen Hurts just played out of his mind against us on Sunday, and we couldn't stop the run. So if Larry Ogunjobi is good to play in this game, I think that's huge. If Keanu Benton can step up in this game, that's big. If Nick Herbig can come in and be productive like he has when filling in for Alex Highsmith, that's huge for this game. And if Cam Hayward can continue to play at an all-pro level that he has all season, that is huge for this game as well. So there you go right there. Make Lamar Jackson beat you. Do not make King Henry beat you in this game. Then finally, Baltimore's defense, as you know, has just been putrid this year. They give up a lot of big plays. They've allowed a lot of points this season, and their pass defense has really fallen off the map this year. Their run defense is solid. I will give them that. They have a really good run defense, and unfortunately for us, that's a big mismatch because, sorry guys, Najee Harris, you're out of here, bro. I'm not picking up that fifth year option if I'm Omar Khan or if I'm the Steelers GM in general. I am not taking Najee Harris's 5th year, especially after that fumble. And now going up against that stout Ravens run defense right here, sorry, that eliminates any kind of run game for us. So this has to open the door for Russell Wilson in this game. Final key to victory right here. Remember a couple weeks ago against the Bengals where he put 44 on them? Well, similar in this game right here. Dominate that Ravens pass defense in this game. This has to be the game where Russell Wilson, shines through and he proves that he can be just as big of an engine of this offense than George Pickens can. And if Pickens does play in this game, that is absolutely the biggest X factor in this game for us. Because, like I alluded to, Pickens is the best player on this offense without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what you want to say to him as his personality goes, as far as him being a player goes, as far as him being selfish goes. You cannot deny that he is, without a doubt, the best player on this offense. So if he is unavailable for this game, which there is a chance that he could still be, but if he is unavailable, this has to be the game for Russell Wilson. He needs to be able to find guys. He has to be able to elevate guys like Mike Williams, who does not run good routes, but he is capable of winning those contested catches. Exploit that. Find Pat Freiermuth across the middle. He's been finding guys like Van Jefferson all season. Van Jefferson, for crying out loud. Keep finding him. CA3's speed makes a difference, where he does run good routes, but the problem with him is that he lacks in size, unlike Mike Williams does. He's the complete opposite of him. And that's another thing. In free agency or the draft, I am definitely going wide receiver. I am definitely going receiver hunting, because if these past couple weeks showed Steeler Nation anything, is that we definitely need a solid number 2 receiver that complements Pickens as well. We need a playmaker. We need a good crisp route runner. And I'm sure Steeler fans right now are saying, well, we should have gotten Brandon Ayuk when we had the chance. Well, that's stupid. Why would you want Brandon Ayuk now? Are you happy we didn't give up all that mortgage for him right now? Because he tore his ACL and he's out for the rest of the season, and he could possibly miss a lot of next season as well. And I sat down here all offseason grilling people for saying it's stupid to give in to what San Francisco wants for Brandon Ayuk, as good of a receiver that he is. Well, look at what happened now. He tore his ACL, and San Francisco's paying the price for it. No, I'm not going after Brandon Ayuk. I would make a move on T. Higgins. I definitely would, if he's willing to come over here. If not, oh well, at least you tried. Get a receiver in the draft. That's what these past couple weeks have shown as far as the receiving goes for the Steelers. So when the offseason comes, regardless of how far we go in the playoffs and no matter what happens in January, one thing is for certain: we need a number 2 receiver on this team. Whether it's finding it in the first round of the draft, whether it's signing someone free agency, who knows what it is. We need a number 2 receiver that complements Pickens. The passing game needs to be prevalent in this game by any means necessary. Because you take a look at Baltimore, the only guys on their defense that really worry me are Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey as far as the pass game goes. And then you take a look at Justin Matabuki on the defensive line. But other than that, this Ravens defense is easily able to be beaten. And like I said, we didn't score a single touchdown the first time we beat them this season. That can't happen again. You need to finish up drives. You need to just dominate that defense, and you need to light up that scoreboard. Come in this game like you want to clinch that damn division, man. I don't give a crap who is or who is not on the field for us. Dominate that defense. Do everything you can to show the Ravens, hey, we mean business. We've won 8 of the last 9 against you, and we're going to steal the AFC North away from you. Okay. So now that all that's out of the way, guys, I'm not going to sit down here and act like that we are going to completely dominate this team, because I don't expect us to, okay? Every time these two go at it, it is a one-score game. It is a close game. As I said in my weekly picks video, throw records and stats out the window whenever these two go at it with each other. It's always going to be a close, physical, contested game. Week 11 showed that for sure. 18-16. Ravens had the number 1 scoring offense in the league that year. We held them to 16 points. So, Pittsburgh Steelers, everyone is counting you guys out. Everyone's saying that you don't have a chance to win this game because your two best players will most likely not play in this game. Go into Baltimore Saturday night and steal this division. We win, the division's ours. If you lose this game, is it the end of the world? No, it's not. Because you still have the AFC North won. You can still wrap up the AFC North in the next two games, even if you drop this game. But I do not want to sit down here and make a video if it, regarding that, if it comes down to that. Do what you need to do Saturday night. Sweep these assholes once again. Take 9 of 10 against them. Beat them in Baltimore for God knows how many times in the last 7 years that it's been. I'm pretty sure this will have been the 7th time in the last 8 games that we'd have beaten the Ravens in Baltimore. The fact is, Baltimore used to be a tough place for us to play. It's now essentially Heinz Field Southeast for us, as we have just completely had these guys' number in Baltimore since 2017. Do what you need to do. Leave that incest county home foreclosure capital with the AFC North. Get it done. And when you host the Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas Day, show the world that you guys aren't a fluke. We mean business. We want that division. And if this fan base is going to check out for the rest of the season because of two things that are not going to be on the field for us, and because, we have injuries that can definitely be cured over the past couple weeks, and I'm going to be the only one that sits down here and says the season is not over yet and our hopes of winning a playoff game are not dead yet, then so be it. This is a very beatable Ravens team. This is an extremely winnable game for us, and we want that division title, no matter who is or who isn't on the field for us. Get it done on Saturday night. Raven fans, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, get ready, because if you think we're just going to lie down and die, you got another thing coming. We're a 6-point underdog coming into this game. And Mike Tomlin does have a pretty good track record of winning games as the underdog, if I'm not mistaken. Keep sleeping on us, because we're going to give you a damn nightmare. Get it done, guys. And that's my preview for this week. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I am Mac. Check it on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.